Going on, everyone? I wanted to respond back to some questions that I had on my TikTok video, the lone wolf, and someone had a question about vulnerability when I was talking about how we have to be able to be comfortable with a certain level of vulnerability when it comes to you being a lone wolf and not try to do things by yourself. So dollars and cents 87 asks, what if folks prey on your vulnerability and you tried so many times, so you just decided to figure things out yourself to not get disappointed? Well, for me, one thing that I learned over time is that depending on who you go to, that's very important. Uh, an uncle of mine used to always tell me that there's a difference between counsel and wise counsel. So who you choose to confide in is very important. It's not only a lesson to you to help you to be able to discern and understand that everyone doesn't have your best interests at heart, but you have to be locked in tune with yourself. You have to spend time investing into yourself so you know when you go to certain people what you can utilize those people for and not utilize those people for, because some people do prey on your vulnerability. People are waiting to hold things over your head, to say what they did or try to throw it back in your face. You have to be kind of mindful too that you're not misinterpreting what someone is trying to do when someone is trying to hold you accountable. There's a certain level and a certain standard that certain people have when they are in your life, and if you're not meeting that standard, some people are going to call you out and they're going to use things that you said, not to use it against you, but as a reference point to help you understand that this is maybe a pattern in your life. So depending on who you're talking to with that conversation, sometimes you might want to have someone who you can talk to and ask them, hey, what do you think about this? Because you might be misunderstanding the help that someone is trying to give to you, and you might think someone is preying on you. On the other end, someone might be preying on you, but you need to know that you're still, at a certain degree, responsible for who you choose to um, try to be vulnerable with, because at some point you have to um, have a certain understanding of who people are um, and who they're not. And that all comes with personal growth. You know that you cannot deal with certain people on certain levels. Even though you might be a genuine person and that you would never do that, you can never put what you wouldn't do off on someone else. So, um, we cannot figure things out by ourselves. Like, we need each other. We need each other's help. We need each other's perspective, because there's so many different things that I might have learned in my journey, my experience. There's different mindsets that I might have obtained from being around certain people and learning certain lessons that I wouldn't have learned on my own. There's many conversations that I've had with people that has helped me to grow. So at the end of the day, even though you don't want to be disappointed, you don't want to put yourself in a position to where you're only leaning on yourself and your own mindset, your own thoughts, because you are limiting your ceiling. You are limiting the things that you are allowed to know from just listening to someone else. But the biggest thing I'm taking away from this question is a person not wanting to be hurt, betrayed, whatever may be used when it comes to them being open and free with their conversation. And again, it's just the fact that you have to be mindful of who you choose to, talk to and be around. And it's also a lesson when you talk to people, because life is going to teach you. And when you're talking to people, life is going to teach you who you should talk to, who you shouldn't talk to. Everything that we go through, sometimes we feel like that something is something that is not. And until you go through it, sometimes someone can say, hey, man, don't deal with that person. Hey, man, that person ain't, that. And sometimes the person going to let you do it because they want you to learn, because they know if they tell you not to do something or deal with a certain person or understand what something is, then you might feel some type of way about them. So I hope this helps towards the question. And if you, dollars and cents 87, or anybody else have anything else you want to chime in about, if it's on this same topic or anything else, just let me know.